Warning, this guide will feature full spoilers for the new trial in patch 7.3 for Final Fantasy XIV, so be mindful. Hi guys, welcome to Hector Lecture Guide to the fight the Ageless Necropolis Extreme. This is Necron. For this fight, you're going to want to split into standard light parties. You also need pairs. These should be tanks with melees, healers with ranged. Spread positions are needed. I use tank, melee, melee, tank, range, healer, healer, range from left to right. Finally, each pair should be assigned a color quadrant. That's a pair of waymarks with matching colors that we're going to use for a particular mechanic later in the fight. The fight begins with blue Shockwave. This is a tank buster targeting the top player in aggro, and it has a massive cleave with it. So the tank that's targeted needs to take this all the way to the corner so that nobody gets hit. There's 2 hits of this, so either have your main tank invuln it or have off-tank provoke after the first hit. You should use either 2 cooldowns or your 40% to be able to mid this. Next up is Fear of Death, and we're going to go into our spread positions. This is a raid-wide that hits for minor damage, and then is followed up with these 8 purple puddles that appear. Each of these is going to have hands pop out of it, and try to target the nearest player for a line AoE. Each player goes to the purple AoE nearest to their spread position, and is going to bait this line AoE so that it won't go towards anybody else, preferably out of the arena. The boss will follow this up with Cold Grip. Just like in normal mode, this is middle safe, followed by dodging away from the glowing purple side. So here everyone will dodge middle, and then immediately to the right away from the purple side. Now we have Memento Mori. During this cast, the boss will glow with 1 light side and 1 dark side. This is signifying how much room there's going to be on each side later, and since we'll be spreading, we need to take note of it. In particular, the dark side can fit 2 players, while the light side can fit 6 players. Now, it doesn't matter how you split this up, but I'm going to go with the standard raid plan pattern, which is to have the tanks always go to the dark side, and everyone else go to the light side. Once you get there, you can already pre-spread, but look out for hands that will spawn. You'll see that the dark side always has 4 sets of hands, leaving only 1 safe lane, while the light side has a lot more room to work with. Adjust so that you're not in line with any of the hands, and you'll see that the boss will cast Smite of Gloom and target everyone with these giant AoEs. If you're already pre-positioned as I show here, everybody's all spread and the mechanic is resolved. Certain hand patterns can leave the tanks with downtime during this. If you're really concerned about that, pop your short cooldown and keep your GCD rolling. The hand AoEs don't hurt that hard, they'll just leave a vuln. This is followed with Soul Reaping, and this is going to get complicated, so let's take it to the chalkboard. There's the out and the in that you might recognize from normal mode. But in addition to that, we have 2 more. This is side safe and middle safe. What I like to do to simplify things down is to think of the out and the sides both as just a form of out. You dodge out to the sides, and you can dodge both of these at the same time. Same thing with the in and the middle. You can dodge in the middle, and you can once again dodge both of these at the same time. You'll notice I have people already in their partner positions. That's because these tend to be combined with either partners or light party stacks. When the boss casts Soul Reaping, you're going to get your first tell. Here we remember that it's going to be sides safe. They'll immediately use this with either 4-fold Blight, which requires pairs, or 2-fold Blight, which requires you to stack in light parties. Here I'll show 4-fold Blight first. Have your players go out to the sides with tanks and melees more to the side or more north, either is fine, and stack with your partner. Here's the same mechanic again, but if middle was stored and if we had 2-fold Blight, which is light parties. Here the players are just going to make sure they're both in and in the middle, and they're stacked in their light parties. After 1 cast of this, the boss will cast Soul Reaping again. You'll get the opposite mechanic. If it was side safe, now it's middle safe, and this will be stored for later on. You might want to type in the chat whatever you just saw so that you can remember it for later. You'll then get a Fear of Death, so we spread out just like before. We bait our puddles. Bait the hands away from everyone else. And now you'll get a cast of the Enza Brace. This is going to target every player with an AoE that will drop another set of hands. Just go drop this on the first set of hands. It's safe to do so immediately. You once again need to bait the hands out of these puddles, but this time they're going to be telegraphed. Dodge out of the telegraphs after they appear. Be aware there's a blue Shockwave tank buster to deal with this, so every player is going to want to make their way towards middle, except for the tanks who will go to their corners. Deal with this with either cooldowns or invul. Now the boss is going to use their stored mechanic. Good thing we remembered that it was sides. We see a twofold blight cast, so we know to stack in light parties. Next up is Grand Cross. You'll see this donut-shaped AoE, and everybody should stack middle and mitigate for some heavy raid-wide damage. When the cast finishes, you'll see that the arena is shrunk, and we see some blue circle planet thingies that you'll recognize from normal mode. These are going to be spinning around and doing the exact same laser AoEs that you saw in normal mode. Nothing new here. In fact, it's even got the same 3, 2, 1 countdown. What makes this phase more difficult is what they add on to it. In addition to that, we're going to have 2 sets of puddles bidden under random players, followed by 4 towers appearing either on all cardinals or all intercardinals, and 4 sets of spread AoEs targeting either all supports or all DPS. The players with spreads need to spread at their color quadrant, while the players who don't have a spread need to go into a tower. What makes this all complicated is the fact that those spinning laser AoEs are going on at the same time, and you can get yourself really turned around trying to stay in your quadrant while dodging those. So let's make this really easy. First, stack middle, bait the puddles while moving towards your intercardinal. These are your color quadrant that we discussed at the beginning of the fight. The spinning line AoEs will start to spin, but just ignore them. They don't matter. Get out to your intercardinal. That's when the towers are going to spawn and the spread AoE spawn. Do a little wiggle to figure out whether or not you're a spread AoE or not. And now just wait at the intercardinal for 2 lasers. The first laser will always hit on a cardinal, and the second laser will always miss you if you're stood on the intercardinal. Immediately after the 2 lasers go off, players that are soaking towers dodge into their towers, spread players go to the other clock spot at their color. Now, get to a cardinal and wait there for 3 lasers. No matter the laser pattern, these will never hit cardinals for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th laser. We get more spread AoEs, but you don't even need to wiggle this time. If you had spreads the first time, you don't have spreads, you're on tower duty the second time. It always alternates. As soon as the 5th laser goes off, dodge into towers and soak the towers in spreads. Finally, finish off by going back middle, and you're going to do the exact same puddle dodge, 1 puddle, and you'll see the proximity AoE pattern on the ground, and the second puddle, and as long as you get to an intercardinal, you'll take non-lethal damage. This does hurt, so mitigate and get ready to heal. Especially because Neutron Ring, which follows, is a hard-hitting raid wad, so heal and mitigate through it. The stage will return back to normal, and we begin our ad phase, and there's not a lot to this. Rising Fear of Death is a bar that will fill over time. You need to kill all the ads before it reaches 100. You get these small hands that spawn. They're going to try to target nearby players with telegraph line AoEs. You can bait them or not, just kill them. What is important to look out for is that some of the ads that spawn will be larger than others. You always get 2 of these larger ads over the course of the phase. Have your main tank provoke the first one that spawns, and face it away from the group. That's because eventually this larger ad is going to target the top player in aggro for them with a tank buster. This is a line AoE you need to bait away from everyone else. All in all, there will be 2 giant ads, so have main tank take the first one and off tank take the second one, and 3 waves total of little ads. Kill the ads before the Rising Fear of Death bar fills up, and you'll get an ultimate attack. This is a super hard-hitting raid wide to mitigate through, and when it finishes, the boss is not targetable, the stage is not around. Instead, you're going to get pulled into your own solo ad phase. What happens in this ad phase depends on what role you are. Regardless of your role, everybody has a 50-second doom, which is basically the timer. You need to finish this phase before the doom timer runs out, or you die. Let's start with tanks. You guys kind of have it easiest. You have 1 ad. It'll try to cast Spreading Fear. This is interruptible, so just use your interject to interrupt it, so it doesn't go off. You'll also get Choking Grass cast. These are mini tank busters. Good DPS, you can just skip that outright, and you're done with your phase. DPS, you have 2 ads to deal with. These ads are both going to be casting Choking Grass. These are telegraph line AoEs, just walk out of them. Now, you want to try to keep these ads roughly even in their health, because at random, one of these ads is going to cast its Enrage earlier, Spreading Fear. You need to kill this one as soon as possible before the cast finishes, or you're dead. Kill that ad, and then as soon as that one's dead, focus down the other one. Healers, good luck. You have the toughest bar. You only have the 1 ad. It's going to target you with an auto attack early on. That will leave you with a very spicy bleed you need to heal yourself through. Save lots of personal heals and mitts for this. This is tough heal check. The ad will cast Chilling Fingers. This is going to target you with a hit that will give you a slow. You can remove the slow with Asuna, and you should do. You'll see Choking Grasp casts occasionally from the ad. These just do heavy damage that you're going to need to heal through. Continue to DPS down and kill the ad without losing all of your health. And even after it's dead, be mindful the bleed may still be active, so heal yourself even as you're escaping until you're definitely fully safe. When that solo ad phase is finished, the boss will cast Spectre of Death, and this is going to summon some giant hands. And we're going to go and do our Fear of Death spreads in whichever lane is remaining. In this case, the front lane. The boss will cast the End's Embrace and target everybody with their own little hand AoE will drop shortly. Make sure you do this while not being anywhere near those hand AoEs. These giant hand AoEs are special. If you get hit with one of those, you don't just get a vuln. You go back and do the solo ad phase again, and that can be a real problem later on in the fight, so make sure to avoid those wherever possible. As soon as the hand AoEs go off, you can spread into the space. There's a little bit of time if you want to give yourself more space to drop your AoEs. These hands are going to again telegraph their AoEs, so bait these away from everyone, and then pay attention to the boss, which is casting a Cold Grip. Dodge very quickly in the middle, sprint is recommended here, and then on to the non-glowing purple side. Now we get Relentless Reaping. The boss is going to telegraph one of its attacks, and we're going to have 4 of these in a row, and just like in normal mode, they're going to spin it to try to mix up the order that they go off in, and at the very end, we're going to have either pairs or light parties with it. Like I mentioned before, I'm not going to pay attention to sides, middles here. I'm just going to treat this side safe as just another form of an out to make it easier to remember. Here we have the classic donut, so it's an in. Here we have middle safe, which is just another form of an in. And we have the classic out, so out. And as soon as I've seen this, because you always get one of each attack, you can write something in the chat to remind yourself, something like 2, 3. The boss will then spin these AoEs around with crop rotation to randomize the order in which they come. They're still going to go in their same order, so since we've landed on 3, it's still going to go clockwise 3, 4, 1, 2, but which number it spins and lands on is random. The boss will activate these alls with either the 4th season, which is pairs, or the 2nd season, which is light parties. Here I'm going to just show the pairs version. We dodge in and middle, and then prepare for the next AoE, which is an out, and we'll go out into the sides. We have another out, so we stay out into the sides. And then finally, for the last AoE, we're going to get into our pair positions as we go in and middle. When that's all done, you get Circle of Lives next. 5 blue planets are going to appear, always in these positions. One at a time, these are going to start to glow green, signifying a donut AoE. Basically, run towards the big blue thing when it starts to glow big and green. The boss will cast Spectre of Death and spawn a hand. Dodge to the first donut. The second one will always be directly north or south of where you've started. Dodge to that one. And now, before you go into the third one, pay very close attention. The hands always go off just before the third AoE. Right here, while we do want to dodge towards the middle, which is always the third AoE, if we dodge too quickly, we'll get clipped by the hands. So pay attention and wait if you have to. Sometimes you need to dodge quickly, other times you dodge slowly. The boss will load up a Soul Reaping, just pay attention to the attack as it'll be used immediately after we finish these donuts, and continue to dodge to the donuts. At the very end, the boss will use the loaded mechanic from Soul Reaping alongside a 2-fold or 4-fold blend. Here we have 2-fold, so we do light parties, and we dodge the out. Now we get to the big one, Mass Macabre. For this, have your melees stacked north, your range stacked south, and as the cast finishes, we get a ton of towers. Like in normal mode, these have a set number of players that need to soak them. The ones you should already be stood in are 4-person towers, so they'll soak almost immediately. The 4-person towers should instantly pop, and you'll see that you get a 4-second magic foam. You cannot pop another tower until this falls off, or you will die. We'll get a Memento Mori cast, and you can completely ignore the light-dark element. It doesn't matter this time. Instead, we're just going to split group 1 left, group 2 right, get out of middle to avoid the attack coming from the boss. We're stood next to a tower, but we're going to wait until our debuff falls off. When our magic foam is gone, which should be just about when Memento Mori finishes casting, you can hop into the 2-person towers. Tanks and melees in the front, healers and range in the back. After the second set of towers, focus on the hands. Dodge the hands. Now there's going to be a blue Shockwave cast, and this means that our tanks are no longer going to be responsible for towers. They're going to go up to their northern corners and deal with the tank buster. Everyone else is going to soak the 3-person towers. We're going to have the group in the west go down to take the south tower, and we're going to have the group in the east go up to take the north tower. Wait until the Voln falls off. Hop into your tower to pop it. Shortly afterwards, you can cheat towards your next tower. We're going to have the group that was in the south head north and the group that was in the north head south. The first hit of the tank buster will go off, and then you can finish your sprint up towards your tower. Wait for the debuff to fall off, hop in, and it should go off roughly the same time as the tank buster. Be mindful of the group in the south that you are not getting clipped by the off-tank's tank buster, which will clip some of your tower. So hug near middle. You may have noticed that M1 gets the short straw on this mechanic with the strat I just showed, so here is Uptime MM2, which some groups are using. It starts out exactly the same, melee's in the front, range in the back. The major first difference is that M1 and R2 have swapped for this bit here. You'll see M1's going southeast, R2 is going northwest. They soak their towers. And then everything here is the same, but now both of the melees are going to be heading up to a tower in the north, so both are getting uptime. After you soak the first tower, rather than run all the way north and south, you're just going to slide along the wall you're already on. So the melees are going to stay in full uptime, and the ranged and healers can soak those towers that are out of uptime. However you deal with this, we get some repeated mechanics next. There's a cold grip to dodge, another Relentless Reaping, a fear of death to spread for, and then the final new mechanic, Circle of Lives 2. This time we get 4 blue circles. One of them will start to signal that it's going off, so we're all going to run towards that one, and the boss will combine it with Spectre of Death. This is a hand that will either go through the middle or through the north and south at the same time. How this works: dodge the first donut. As you dodge the second donut, dodge the hand as well. This will repeat. Dodge the third donut. And as you dodge the fourth donut, dodge the hands as well. When all that's finished, everything left is repeated mechanics. You'll get another Memento Mori. This is the 6-2 split that we saw at the beginning of the fight, including with the giant pink Smite of Gloom AoEs. And after all that, the boss is going to repeat the entirety of the Grand Cross phase. All of it again. When all of that's done, the boss will cast Darkness of Eternity one more time. You have till the end of this cast to kill the boss, or it's game over. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed.